You know, there comes a time in life that whether or not you're a Call of Duty fan or whatever you're into or whatever you're not into, there just comes a time in your life or in your career or whatever the deal may be that you just gotta accept the facts. Now, not everybody's really good at accepting the facts, but there's just some certain facts that, well, whether or not you like it, you just gotta accept it, which is pretty much the topic of today's video. But first, I wanted to give you a good amount of examples so that way you and I can kind of relate and we can kind of take this to another level, maybe even on a personal level, depending on what floats your boat and what kind of person you may be. But long story short, there's a little bit something here for everyone. Well, except for those of you guys that are underage. Hint, hint. So, no underage people in my videos. But anyway, well, first let's get some real talk out of the way. Nothing lasts forever. No matter how much we would like it to, nothing lasts forever, and there's nothing really that sure in life but two things: death and taxes. But wait! There's more! Everyone's shit smells bad. Whether they like to believe that or not, or some people out there may think that their shits don't stink. Well, that ain't true. 8 Thoughts is so alpha, the ultimate alpha Call of Duty athlete, that he lost his virginity before he actually had sex. Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James. Ron Jeremy has fucked more women than anybody watching this video combined. I'm not as good looking as Spider-Man. Women love big penises. Deadpool is funnier than I am. Ninja, you know Ninja, the Fortnite streamer Ninja? Yeah, he's not really a ninja. I'm right-handed, but I touch myself with my left. Drifter is way smarter than I am. Sticking feathers up your ass does not make you a chicken. Just because you have big feet doesn't automatically mean that you got a big package. I mean, I wear a size 12 shoe, and Korean Savage is more hung than I am. Modern Warfare sucks. Modern Warfare developers suck. Activision only cares about your money. The Modern Warfare community manager is very, very mean, but let's just be real here. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'd still hit it. So, with all that being said, and all those facts laid out, so to speak, right, whether or not we want to accept them, I just thought they'd be interesting to tell you guys because, this allows us to kind of get to know each other a little bit better and just kind of break the ice a little bit. And with that being said, we're going to get right into the gameplay commentary right now. As always, uncut, unedited, uncensored, uncircumcised, all that good stuff. So, and of course, the title of today's discussion is going to be, well, maybe there's one fact that as a Call of Duty community we may have to come to grips with, but the real interesting part is this a fact or not? It's very debatable. So let's get into the commentary. Alright guys, what's up? So, let's talk. So I got a comment in my comment section earlier today that basically said that COD is beyond saving, and that is the comment that kind of inspired today's video. And I found it rather interesting because your points of view are always very interesting. Now, granted, some people will always say something in the comment section that is annoying, but for the most part, you guys are very, very sensible people, and I get plenty of times I get ideas for videos based on my comment section. So thank you for that. And at the same time, I always take your comments to heart because, quite frankly, your points of view are basically an example of what the community managers and all these people that are basically in charge and have an impact on making the game and providing the game, well, this is the kind of feedback that they need to see and they need to take to heart as well. So, and I think that would make the game better. But with that being said, do you guys believe that at this point right now that Call of Duty is beyond saving? Because if you think about it, like let's rewind the clocks back a year, right? Let's rewind the clocks back a year, as the Joker once said. Rest in peace, Heath Ledger. You guys, your performance was awesome. But back in Black Ops 4, before Black Ops 4 actually, we got the rumor that it was originally going to be like Overwatch. And the biggest hint of that remains in the full release of the game is the fact that assists counted just as much as kills, or the EKIA, so to speak. There are fans that loved it, especially the noobs, and there are fans that hated it.
So that's just one example. Apparently, even Vaughn tweeted out that he had to quote unquote lick his wounds, or I'm kind of paraphrasing here, when it came to design decisions that were basically denied. Apparently Black Ops 4 was going to be so different that it was way off base from what Call of Duty actually was. So I guess Activision, or maybe the pros that got in to play it, said like, this is really bad, don't do this, or something like that, or maybe the combination of the two. So when you look at it in that aspect, even though Black Ops 4 is a boots on the ground with a little bit of Black Ops 3 mixed with the specialists, it's a lot different still. I mean, despite the fact that it still feels very traditional, but there's a big piece of it that is not as traditional, especially with the specialists and the EKIA and what that game could have been. Thank God it didn't end up being that way. But if you rewind back even further in this game and in Black Ops 3, which out of all the advanced movement games, Black Ops 3 is probably praised the most from the community, because Treyarch just did such a fine job of being able to balance both the boots on the ground aspect of Call of Duty and keeping that very well intact while introducing the advanced movement, or their flavor of advanced movement, which was noticeably different than Advanced Warfare. Because if it was similar to Advanced Warfare's, I'm pretty sure that they would have gotten a ton of hate for it. Although I'm one of the very few that actually liked Advanced Warfare, there are a lot of people that didn't. And as Call of Duty fans, I think it's safe to say that regardless of which kind of fan you are and whatever kind of specific flavor that you prefer when it comes to Call of Duty, the thing is that you can't go too far off base from what traditional Call of Duty is. In other words, you can't go too deep into advanced movement. You can't even go too deep into a defensive game like Modern Warfare, for instance, because it'll play like something else, especially when it comes to things like map design and all these kind of things. So at its core, as I've said time and time again, Call of Duty needs to be a fast-paced arcade first-person shooter. Now, granted, it should be a fast-paced arcade first-person shooter that rewards any kind of playstyle. Granted, it's done correctly. And every single kind of playstyle should be countered. So I think that's where, in advanced movement, I think a lot of Call of Duty traditionalists didn't like that game simply because of the fact that it was pretty much 70% of it was pretty much relying on the advanced movement. And a lot of them didn't like that, because if they did, they would have played something else and it didn't feel like Call of Duty to them. As a matter of fact, I got my first taste of that and my first actually intel about that when I actually talked to a friend of a friend who said that he did not like Advanced Warfare and he only played a handful of games and then he just left, and he's been playing Call of Duty for years. And I said, why did you not like Advanced Warfare? And he basically summed it up very simply for me. And he said, well, it didn't feel like Call of Duty to me. And I thought about that for a few seconds, and I'm like, yeah, I understand where he's coming from. So every single Call of Duty fan expects something, so I can understand from that aspect how the developers constantly have trouble developing the game and making all these different design decisions and deciding how to keep things fresh or whatnot. Now, Modern Warfare should still be held accountable for its bullshit. There's no doubt about that from a gameplay perspective. I mean, it's like a whole bunch of noobs or people from a different development studio came in and made this game. Namely, developers from Battlefield, for instance, or Rainbow Six Siege, or a combination of all the three. They probably got all together and decided to have a big barbecue and some smoking a few big ones, and basically just saying, you know what, we should do this. Yeah, let's go for it. Why not? So the thing is that whether it's a design decision or whether it's microtransactions, the greediness of Activision, the money aspect, because we all know how money talks louder than pretty much almost anything, if not anything at all. The thing is that to some people, Call of Duty, because of those reasons, or a combination of those reasons, is beyond saving at this point. And I wanted to make this video because I wanted your in-depth thoughts about this, because there's always something and a point of view that is very interesting that not everybody has thought of. Everybody, regardless of how you play COD, has a different point of view in terms of the game. Like, for instance, let me just give you an example. There are people out there that don't believe that skill-based matchmaking exists. Now, granted, with Modern Warfare, they're starting to believe it even more. And there are certain people that even make videos that have said such a thing. So when I see a video like that, part of me says, yeah, see what I'm talking about? And then another part of me says, you know, well, I appreciate the honesty. I appreciate the openness. And quite frankly, it's, you know what I mean? It is a person's point of view. So whether or not you agree or whether or not they don't agree with you, as long as there's obviously some respect there, I think we should always take everybody's points of view to account when it comes to everything. So, and again, I'm not really, how do I put this? I'm not really trying to cut the developers slack, or at least too much as it is, because at this point, I mean, it would take a big dumbass to not, for somebody that's been developing Call of Duty games for years to not know what Call of Duty is. But because of the fact that you try to bring players from other genres into your game, which even Black Ops 4 did, or at least what they tried to do with implementing like an Overwatch type of game, which was rumored to happen, and thank goodness that it didn't. And with the popularity of Battle Royale, Black Ops 4 also added Blackout. And in that aspect, it was a success. And Vaughn was actually, in a lot of people's eyes, Vaughn succeeded in terms of creating a Call of Duty flavored Battle Royale. And obviously, like I said, money talks louder than everything else, which is why Blackout was implemented in the first place. And that's why multiplayer took a back seat. And right now, I feel like especially with Modern Warfare, the community, the traditional Call of Duty community that has been with the franchise for a long time, whether you're a content creator or not, or even if you're a noob still. I mean, some of us are noobs for life, and that's completely fine. And that's, in a lot of aspects, I see noobs as some of the healthiest gamers because, quite frankly, they just want to play to have fun, and they don't give a shit about their KD. They don't care about anything else, really. They just want to have fun, which is the primary reason to play games in the first place. But the thing is that Call of Duty still needs to be Call of Duty, and because of all the decisions that are made, you know, I mean, I feel that the community is being pushed out of the way, kind of like how the multiplayer was pushed out of the way to the side to leave more room for Blackout. And right now, I feel like that's what they're doing with the Call of Duty multiplayer community. They're just pretty much pushing us to the side and inviting in people from different genres into our community. Now, I'm all about expanding the community and making it bigger. I mean, if you think about it, the bigger the community, the less strict skill-based matchmaking has to be. At least I'm sure that's the way the developers are looking at it from that point of view. So the thing is that I'm all about that, but not at the expense of sacrificing or just turning your back to the players, to the community that made you who you are and what you are in the first place. And that is giving you the success that you have in the first place. So we can't forget about the core. Other genres have done this with previous iterations that have pissed their fan base off. So why can't our community, the Call of Duty, why can't our developers, the Call of Duty developers, learn that from different developers, from what they've seen and how their community acts to their changes that they make? You know, we're not invincible, obviously. So, but anyway, guys, I just want to make this video to get your points of view and your thoughts. So in your opinion, because of all these reasons mentioned in the video, is Call of Duty at this point right now beyond saving? Is it too late? Or is it possible to bring it back? I mean, I know we can never bring back the old days of what COD was in terms of how it feels and how fresh and new it is. But in terms of popularity and in terms of getting people back and even winning people over and winning the people that have left to come back, do you guys think that that's still possible? Or do you think that's been dead? Because I've been getting so many different hints to this question that I figured I'd make a video and let's get deep into the conversation. I can't wait to see what you guys write down below. And I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. And as always, if you did, let me know. And if you didn't, let me know what I could do to make my videos better. I'll catch you guys on stream. I'll leave all the links down in the description below. Thank you very much for your support, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.